thousands of Europeans said enough to freezing, taxes, and €3,000 rent and moved to paradise. I'm about to show you exactly where they went. And are these sunny destinations really as perfect as they seem? Let's find out. Okay, let's be completely honest with each other for a second. Europe is expensive, like embarrassingly expensive. The average rent in Amsterdam has crossed €2,000 a month. A weekly food shop for two people in London now runs well over £150. And don't even get me started on energy bills, council tax, or the fact that the NHS waiting list for a GP appointment is now measured in weeks, not days. Meanwhile, and this is the part nobody talks about at dinner parties, the weather? Still absolutely terrible. Gray, wet, cold, 8 months of the year. You know it's true. We're going to count down from number 10 to number 1. And I promise you, number 1 is not what you're expecting. Most people who guess get it wrong. Stay for the reveal because it genuinely surprised me when the data pointed to it. Right, let's get into it. Number 10, Georgia. And I know, the moment I say Georgia, half of you immediately pictured the American state. Forget that. I'm talking about the Republic of Georgia. Georgia is operating at a completely different level to almost anywhere else in the world right now in terms of value for money. The capital, Tbilisi, is a genuinely beautiful city. Think medieval stone churches, those extraordinary wooden balconied houses stacked up the hillside, natural sulfurous hot spring baths in the middle of the old town, wine that has been produced here for literally 8,000 years. If you're on a tighter budget, you want warm summers, one of the most unique and welcoming cultural experiences in the world, and you want to be ahead of the curve rather than following the crowd, Georgia absolutely deserves serious consideration. All right, let's move to number 9, Morocco. Morocco sits just 14 kilometers across the Strait of Gibraltar from Spain. And yet, in terms of cost of living and in terms of cultural richness, you might as well be on a different planet. The country has a well-established expat community, particularly in Marrakesh, Essaouira, Tangier, and the capital, Rabat. The climate along the Atlantic coast is genuinely spectacular, warm but tempered by ocean breezes, so it never gets unbearably hot the way the interior can in summer. Marrakesh gets over 3,000 hours of sunshine a year. To put that in context, London gets around 1,400. You are talking about more than double the sunshine. More than double. Number 8, Mexico. I know, Mexico sounds like a very long way from Europe. It is. But the expat communities here are growing so fast. The quality of life on offer is so compelling, and the value for money is so strong that leaving it off this list would be doing you a disservice. Mexico City right now is arguably the most exciting city to live in the world. And I know how that sounds, but I'm not alone in saying it. That assessment appears in multiple global quality of life surveys, and it's backed by the absolutely enormous influx of international residents who have moved there over the last 3 to 4 years, and a climate that sits at around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius almost year-round because of the city's altitude. Number 7, Thailand. A classic on every expat and retirement list, and one that absolutely still earns its place in 2026, but one that has evolved significantly from its older reputation as just a budget backpacker destination. Thailand today is a genuinely sophisticated country for long-term living. World-class private hospitals, fast and expanding digital infrastructure, one of the world's great cuisines. This is not a subjective opinion, it is an international consensus. And a culture characterized by a genuine warmth and hospitality toward foreigners that is not performance. It is simply how Thai culture operates. The two primary bases for European expats are Chiang Mai in the north, a city of roughly 1 million people, meaningfully cooler than the rest of Thailand due to its altitude, surrounded by mountains and jungle, and absolutely full of quality cafes, co-working spaces, yoga studios, international restaurants, and one of the largest and most diverse expat communities in all of Asia. And this is the first destination on our list that's actually inside the European Union, which for many people changes the entire calculation. Cyprus is a fascinating island, and I want to give you a sense of why before we get to the practical numbers, because the character of a place matters as much as the spreadsheet. English is not just widely spoken in Cyprus, it is an official working language. The climate is exceptional. Cyprus records around 340 days of sunshine per year, more than virtually anywhere else in Europe. Summers are long, hot, and dry. Winters in the coastal areas are genuinely mild, typically 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. You can swim in the sea from April through to November. November in Europe. And if you haven't seriously considered Malta, whether for retirement or for relocation, I think this section might genuinely change your thinking. Let me tell you the 3 things about Malta that most people don't know. First, English is an official language, not just widely spoken, officially, constitutionally, legally official. Second, Malta is a full EU member state using the euro. EU citizens have complete freedom of movement and residence. Third, the history. Valletta, Malta's tiny Baroque capital, is a UNESCO World Heritage City of extraordinary density and beauty. Now the climate. Malta gets over 300 days of sunshine per year. Summers are warm, typically 28 to 33 degrees Celsius in July and August, which is hot, but a touch more manageable than Cyprus at its peak. The eternal European dream. The climate? 300-plus sunny days per year. The Mediterranean diet is literally the healthiest in the world according to nutrition studies. The lifestyle is siga siga, slowly, slowly. Stress dissolves here. Best places? Crete and Corfu for island lovers, the Peloponnese for mainland coastal charm, Thessaloniki for city amenities at half the Athens price. And the islands, over 200 inhabited ones, mean you can find your perfect spot. And before you say, but I've never considered Asia, let me hit you with this. Malaysia's MM2H program, Malaysia My Second Home, was completely overhauled in 2026, and now it offers something no European country can match, a 20-year renewable visa. Many Europeans who move to Malaysia discover something surprising. Life feels easier. Not perfect, but easier. The biggest challenge? The tropical climate. It's warm all year. For some people, that's exactly the goal. 30 degrees Celsius year-round. Humid? Absolutely. But every building is air-conditioned, and you're never more than a few hours from a beach or highland retreat where it's 10 degrees cooler. Portugal. Portugal has been named the world's most livable country by multiple independent global indices in recent years. International Living's annual Quality of Life survey has ranked it at or near the top consistently. It scores highly on safety, healthcare, climate, cost of living, culture, and what I can only describe as a uniquely Portuguese quality, a warmth and a lack of aggression in daily life that feels genuinely different to anywhere else in Western Europe. Now, Portugal sits on the western edge of the Iberian Peninsula, meaning it faces the Atlantic, which moderates the climate beautifully. Lisbon gets around 290 days of sunshine per year. The Algarve, the southern coastal region and the most popular expat destination in Portugal, gets close to 300 days, with temperatures that rarely drop below 12 degrees Celsius even in December and January. That is a genuinely mild winter. Climate. And this is the foundational reason. The Canary Islands sit in the Atlantic Ocean off the northwest coast of Africa, just north of the Tropic of Cancer. The result is a climate that is not simply warm, it is permanently, consistently, year-round spring-like in the way that nowhere in mainland Europe can match. The average year-round temperature in the south of Tenerife and Gran Canaria is 20 to 24 degrees Celsius. You can have breakfast on your terrace in January. You can swim in the sea in December. You wake up to blue sky in November. There is no winter. Not a reduced winter, not a mild winter, no winter. For Europeans who have spent decades enduring gray skies from October to April, this is not just pleasant, it is life-changing.